Well, good morning, everyone. Just want to make sure I get the camera going and I didn't just take a photo of myself. Done that many times. So here we are on January. Well, no, January. Why can't I? January went by so quick. I can't get rid of it. We're in February the 6th. And it's Tuesday. It's my family's day off as we are doing some things today and mainly some work around the house that needs to get done and such. But still, it's a change. It's different. We get to do it together, and it's a real joy and a pleasure. So here we're starting to touch on the law as we read through Exodus. A lot of Exodus is about the introduction of the law, and Israel needed a law because any society, to be a society, you have to have a law. And what was introduced to Israel from Yahweh made them unique among the nations. No nations had a set of laws and case studies as what was presented to them by God through Moses. And it's incredible. And what I really love about this is some people have this real bad thought towards the law. And it comes from our understanding that we're not under law, we're under grace. And that's because the law is perfect and holy, and we are not perfect and holy. We cannot live the law because it's just we were born with a natural tendency to rebellion. And Jesus had to come to fulfill the law. He had to come. He was perfect in everything, in every way, and he completed the law. He fulfilled the law perfectly and became that perfect sacrifice on our behalf. And because of what he did, he has filled that law in us. So the expectation isn't there for us to be perfect, even though God has declared us to be perfect. It all gets kind of really weird, doesn't it? Just the fact is that we're told to pursue righteousness. The law is righteousness. It's a righteous law, which means it's a perfect law. It's a just law, and that's what comes across in the law so much that we worship and we have a God who abides in us, who is a just God. As you read through that, there are things that he tells them not to do, but there's so much more that has to do with mercy and compassion. And he said in just today's reading, at least twice, take care of the immigrants because you were once an immigrant. Don't abuse immigrants. Look after them. Be kind to them. He talks about lending money to other Israelites, but don't make money off of it. Yeah, don't charge interest. Lend money, but don't try to make money off of it. You do it because these are your brothers and sisters. I mean, the one that really stands out for people quite often is don't boil a baby goat in its mother's milk, and that just typifies that's just wrong. It's just wrong to do such a thing. It's not wrong because it's going to cause a disease or anything of the sort, but it's just wrong when it comes to justice. And there's all of these laws are wrapped around doing what is right, according to God, and that's what we want to do. It's not that we're not under law in that way, because the law and all the prophets are summed up in two commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. All the laws fit into those two categories. So it's not that that we're getting off scot-free. It's just that we're not going to be held accountable in that way when we fall short, because Jesus Christ has covered us. It's called grace, and he's covered us. But we're told to pursue righteousness. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. It's not that the kingdom of God and righteousness are separate. It's the emphasis of what the kingdom of God is, which is righteousness. And we are supposed to pursue righteousness. That's supposed to be our heart. It's to pursue what is right, to do what is right, to look after the orphans and the widows. But in this day and age, especially in Canada, there's right now there's immigration is a hot topic, and people have this feeling that it's there's an injustice bringing in all these immigrants with their ways and all this sort of stuff. We're supposed to look after the immigrants. We're supposed to look after those who are in terrible situations in this world. We're supposed to look after these people. We're supposed to look after the widows, the orphans, the homeless, those who need food, those who need clothing, those who need shelter. This is what we're supposed to be occupied with, justice. Social justice and the worship of God really goes hand in hand. It's what John says. He says, you can't say that you love God when you show hatred to a brother. You can't say that you love God when you show hatred to a human being whom Jesus Christ has died on the cross for, because he died for everyone. And so this idea of social justice is what the church is supposed to be occupied with, but keeping the commandments in order, keeping those two commandments in order. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your strength. That is paramount. That is number one. But understanding that there's no way that we can love God and not love people. We keep saying this. You can love people without loving God. You can have a social conscience. You can show love towards people, not to the depth and the extent that God has given us love, not to that extent, but that there is a capacity within a human being to show love. It can't go to the depth that God has called us to, but we can show love. But one thing is absolutely clear. You cannot love God without loving people. Those two go hand in hand. You cannot love God without loving people. John said it again and again. And that's what justice is about. Justice is motivated by love, not by rule of law, not by case studies, but by love. And we love because Jesus first loved us. And that's what it comes down to. It's not a legalistic thing. It's not a list of rules. It is doing what is right according to Father's heart. So the whole thing that we need to be occupied with is not memorizing case laws, but studying and understanding Dad's heart, spending time with him, getting to know him, getting closer to him, having his heart revealed to us. So we want to do that thing. So that when we come into situations, we know what Dad's heart is in those matters, and that's what we do. That's what it's all about. And as we go through this, because we're going to go through a lot of this, in Exodus and Leviticus and Deuteronomy, it's all about law, and it's all about the establishment of the society of Israel. And if you can have the right heart in this, then you will see the beauty of the law. You'll see why the psalmist in Psalm 119 went on and on and on about the precepts of God and the holiness of God's law, because it is, and it is perfect. And if it was possible to live that, it would be ideal. But God knew it wasn't possible. He set up the holy law, but he also gave them a whole system of sacrifices because he knew that they would fall short. But those sacrifices were replaced by the perfect sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross. I know it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful if you can get there and accept it. So it's great as we read through the law. Don't feel that it's a burden. It reveals Dad's heart. Look for Dad's heart in the matter. You have a great day. I'm going to enjoy today. Kids and I have already been enjoying the day, and their mom just brought home donuts for them to have for breakfast. Wow. She's such a strict mom, and then she has these moments of party. Let's party. So you guys have a great day. Be blessed. Be used by God. Be filled with joy. Let this be a joyful day, no matter what you're facing. The joy of the Lord is our strength. The Lord is our strength. Be strengthened by him, as we studied in Ephesians last Sunday. Be strengthened by him. He is our strength. So God bless and have a great day.